Banjiva Korja, Eimear Burke here. Welcome to another Fireside Chat. And this is Fireside Chat 188. And as is customary, I will start with a prayer for peace. Gomara Siacon ar fud na crinne. Gomara Siacon in our jaili agus in our jirha. Gonairi lin lenakrid garmaka. Gomwich buikas jiv je chivdaka, spirit chivdaka. May peace prevail on earth. May peace prevail in our homes and in our countries. May our missions be accomplished. We thank you, guardian spirits and guardian deities, for peace. As the fever of day calms towards twilight, may all that is strained in us come to ease. We pray for all who suffered violence today. May an unexpected serenity surprise them. For those who risk their lives each day for peace, may their hearts glimpse providence at the heart of history. That those who make riches from violence and war might hear in their dreams the cries of the lost. That we might see through our fear of each other a new vision to heal our fatal attraction to aggression. That those who enjoy the privilege of peace might not forget their tormented brothers and sisters. That the wolf might lie down with the lamb, that our swords be beaten into ploughshares, and no hurt or harm be done anywhere along the Holy Mountain, with thanks to John O'Donoghue. So you're all very, very welcome, and let me see where you're all. So Southern Brazil, hello, and then Slough, Germany, New South Wales. Let me see where other people are from. Calgary, did they say sunny Calgary? It's very dull here. Well, it's dark here in Ireland, but it's been dull today. Kamloops, BC, Anoka, Minnesota, windy, Northwest or Pacific Northwest coast, Wyoming, Atlanta, Georgia, New Zealand, France. Lovely. It's great to see so many people here. So you're all very, very welcome. And I hope wet Hertfordshire, Belgium, Athens, lovely, New Forest, wonderful, Denmark, Wiltshire. Well, I hope you've had a good Samhain. And Samhain lasts for the whole month of November here in Ireland, because that's the Irish word for November is Samhain. So we're still in Samhain mode here. So we are going to Italia. So let me introduce my guest this evening. And it's Carla Righetti. Carla, you are so, so welcome.
Hello, good evening to everybody, or good morning. It depends. Anyway, hello.
So tell us where you are in Italy, Carla.
Well, I find myself in Monfalcone, which is the city I was born in and where I'm still living. Monfalcone is a small town placed in the northeastern part of Italy, in a county called Friuli Venezia Giulia. Perhaps, Eimear, you remember it. When we were at the gathering, we named it many, many times.
Friuli, yes.
Bordering with Austria and Slovenia too. To be honest, this town is not a wonderful, beautiful place where you think tourists would like to come for spend an holiday, because it is mostly an industrial city with few or no historical or artistical attractions at all. Anyway, I think we are quite famous in all around the world because we have a big shipyard where they build some enormous and luxurious cruise ships that go sailing all around the world. So this is why we are worldwide known, I think, more or less. Anyway, if the city itself is quite unremarkable, instead the surroundings are much more better and offer different kind of landscapes. For instance, in 5 minutes by car, you can reach the Adriatic Sea. And in an hour or two by car, you can reach our mountains, our lush woods, some wonderful lakes, and a rocky hill region called Carso. And so it's quite wonderful. The city in itself is quite ugly, I would say, but the surroundings are much more better.
And do you live in the city or do you live in the surroundings?
No, I live in the city. Anyway, the city is quite small.
Oh,
Mm,
okay.
hmm.
So so what also that you haven't mentioned is your language.
Um, how, please?
You haven't tell us about your language, the language spoken in Friuli.
Friulano.
Yeah.
It's quite difficult to understand, also for us Italians. The place where I live, in the place where I live, we don't speak the real Friulano. That's not understandable, neither to me. Oh, no, okay. So, what can I say? Perhaps you will know that here in Italy we don't have many sacred places, sacred sites, or at least in the way we usually intend them. I mean, stone circles or standing stones or mounds or cairn, etc. Unfortunately, we are not lucky like as you are in Ireland or in Great Britain. We are very poor in this sense.
Oh, but you have
Well,
vino and very nice food. So I think
oh
that
yeah,
compensates. You're certainly your wine traditions and food traditions will surpass ours. I have to say that. Now maybe I get it for that, but I really
oh,
enjoy it.
of course.
So how did you? So from living in an ugly city, as you call it, and you seem that what you're describing is you seem to have more of a natural landscape rather than a man-made landscape. So the city is man-made and ugly.
Hmm.
Our sacred sites are human-made, uh, and we do have some forests, but not as much as I would like. So you seem to have, from what you're saying, uh, a more natural landscape that's there anyway. That's nature given.
Oh
Would you?
yes, we have mm, we have wonderful woods and lakes, um, beautiful places where to refuge sometimes when we can escape from our cities and go there to relax and recover and breathe freely. Uh,
Yes. So there's something, even though you say you're poor because you don't have the sacred sites that we have, but you
uh,
also you have a sacred natural landscape, which,
yes.
which I think is very, very rich. So tell us a little bit about your background, your spiritual background, and
In my young adulthood, I started being interested in spiritual topics,
mm-hmm.
and I liked very, very much Celtic traditions and mythology and history, everything about the Celts. But I remember that in my childhood, I first hear the word druid, for example, for instance. I was a small child and I was attending the primary school. And our teacher, I remember like it was yesterday, was talking us about the Christmas customs. And he said that the first kind of Christmas tree was created by the Druids, but without adding no further explanation about. So I guess it was the Yule branch he was referring to. But of course, none of us pupils dared to ask him who the hell these Druids were. So I kept growing up with this strange word still resounding every now and then in my ear. Strange word, but anyway, somehow magical and charming and appealing. But I was still ignoring anyway what druid meant. So later, I came across the comic strips Asterix the Goal, you know,
Mhm.
and I found Panoramix the druid. And then seeing that old man, white robed, that was stirring its magical potion in its cauldron, was a
Mhm.
druid. And to me, it was a big discover. I said, "Oh, here you are again, druid." Then I was telling you that I grown up with this word and with my passion for Celtic topics. And so you know how it works. You read the book, and
Mhm.
then this book reminds you, quotes and refers to other books, to many other books that you, of course, can't miss to have and read, of course. And so you buy them and you read them, and so you want other books at in a never-ending chain of books. It's like when you jump on the stones of a river. And so, jumping from one book to another, I finally came across Obod. I read the wonderful books of Philip, and
Mhm.
I liked them very, very much. They really discovered me a word, an entire word. And so I got to subscribe to the Bardic grade. So I complete my training, and nowadays, here I am. I am a druid.
Wonderful. So, given your horrible background in the horrible city you live in, I'm using your words. I'm not saying anything.
No, you're right.
Um, how do you so actually someone says Bruno says the first time I heard the word druid in this incarnation was when I was 8. I had started playing the World of Warcraft. I heard about druids when I was very young in primary school from the teachers, the nuns, teaching us the myths and legends. And it's interesting um, about your teacher telling you that the first Christmas tree was by druids. I thought the first Christmas tree came in Germany, but I know the tradition was always about bringing evergreen branches, trees into the house, holly and ivy reflecting the light of candles and things, bringing in nature spirits. Um, and I don't know if the druids were the first ones, but it doesn't matter who did it first. But it's
My
that,
teacher told us so.
but that just that lovely idea of bringing living things from nature into the house, into the dark, because our ancestors would have been living in darkness and quiet. Yeah, Bruno says that Yuletide by the Germans. That's my understanding, but that's what I love about bringing those the desire to bring nature. We're all nature, but to bring the green into our houses in the winter. And of course, in this northern hemisphere, we do have evergreen plants at winter that survive the winter because so much of our leaves our trees are deciduous. But it's so lovely to have the holly and the ivy and pine trees to be able to bring them in. It's beautiful. So anyway, to get back, I was just commenting on our just referring to some of the comments from our viewers. Um, so do you go out into the rural area to practice your druidry, or have you developed an urban druid practice, do you think? Are you an urban druid or are you a rural druid? Or both?
No, no, I am a country druid because I have two different groups. Um, Uh, so, I have to say, last Saturday, I did a ceremony with one of my two groups that was open to public.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody could attend it. And with some friends of us, we go in a country yard, a homestead of a friend of us, and we celebrate the 8 festivals of
Lovely.
the wheel of the year, and everybody can participate. So we did it. We lit a bonfire in which we threw offerings to the ancestors. So we threw bread, wine, salt, and honey, just to burn them and to nourish with the smoke the spirit of our ancestors and the deities, of course. And we sang, we danced, and somebody also spent a tear. It was quite moving and heartfelt. Apart from them, I have another group, a seed group, a real group that with them I will party this Saturday, next Saturday, and we will gather in another place, but it will be a closer ceremony only for us and some other bodies. For instance, there will be also Alessandra, that you know, and Ilaria from Padua with her husband and some friends of them. They will be with us to celebrate Samhain. And that time we will perform the true Obot ceremony, like it has to be performed. And it will be very, very moving. We will really looking forward to Saturday, to be together, to celebrate our ancestors.
Beautiful.
Anyway, apart from this, during these days, when I can, I try to find some time to sit alone in front of my home shrine, to lit a candle and to burn some good incense and to honorate and think about my ancestors all alone by myself. I
Mm-hmm.
remember my parents and all my dear departed and some friends who have missed during this year. And yes, I try to do this as often as I can during this day. It's very important to me. So I have many different ways to celebrate Samhain.
Lovely, lovely. That's just beautiful. That is. So, um, is there any? So, how would you say, since you've become a member, how would you say your druidry has influenced your life and maybe changed it or influenced in some way? Could
Oh,
you, could you share a little bit about?
completely, absolutely. I've always been drawn towards natural realms and nature at all. But Druidry has given me a key to enter, to delve more deeply into nature and to understand things like not everybody does, really. It's quite important to me. If I enter a wood and I go among the trees, I can put myself in a kind of spatial a relationship with the trees and
Mhm.
the plants and everything all around me. And I feel blessed by it because before entering Obot, I didn't have this capability. I don't know how to say.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm, I think that Druidry offers a kind of a lens to
Hmm.
see world and everything around you in a deeper and in a stronger way, in a special way that it's secluded to others. Not everybody does. And I feel lucky. I'm very lucky. Every day I say thank you to myself for I perceive this a great gift I have done to myself. My life is completely changed in a better way, of course.
So, can you describe how it's changed? Like,
So
do you have a picture of the pre-Druid Carla and the Druid, or I can't say post-Druid because you're still a Druid, Carla?
I was a bit superficial. I didn't care so much for the others, for everything around me, for my relationship with nature. I couldn't guess there is something like nuifer, for example.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronunciate it right.
Nuiver.
Nuifer, okay. I couldn't guess about its existence. And now I'm deeply aware of it, and it helps me very, very much. And Owen, or anything uh, you can learn about studying in Obot. I feel enriched in everything I do. It's like I've been given more tools to understand and to perform my spirituality too, and it's very important. Before Obod, let's say so, I deeply felt I was needing some way to perform my spirituality, but I didn't know exactly how to do. And now I'm more aware, and I have many keys of comprehension that I didn't have before.
I think I can identify with that. That for me, you use the word key. And Philosophical Phoenix says Druidry as a key to nature. That's a lovely and true analogy, Carla. And they're also talking about sofa druids who are nice and squishy. You know, if you could be a druid anywhere, on a sofa or in an apartment or under a tree or in the forest. It's about what you're opening yourself up to. That is beautiful, beautiful. So, what? How? Okay, any challenge? What challenges have you had that you have overcome in your life? Like, what big life lesson have you learned? Now, it may be druid related or may not, but when you think of the younger Carla and now, what big changes have happened in your life?
For instance, I finally became totally aware about my pagan spirituality. I was, for instance, when I was born, my parents baptized me as in the Christian church. I was Catholic. I was born Catholic, let's say, with the baptism. And then I had to go to the church, to the mass. I did the communion, and with my first husband, I had to get married in church. But I never felt like I was really belonging to that word. It was not mine. I felt all the words that the priest could say in the church didn't resound me anyway, were totally meaningless to me. When I was younger, I didn't know which was the right way, the right path for me to follow. I didn't have this awareness. completely. But anyway, I felt that way was wrong, totally wrong for me. During my training, I completely became aware that my right way, my right path is pagan. I'm absolutely a pagan. So, what is changed? I finally decide to go and ask the baptism. I don't know how to explain. Um,
Okay, can
I
I
made the
borrow?
request to
You
the
want
priest.
you wanted to undo it.
Hmm.
You wanted to undo the baptism.
Okay, yes, that's
Is
true.
that what you're saying?
Also, I obtained this. I wrote a letter to the former priest of the church where I was baptized, asking to be erased from the registers, and they did it. They couldn't oppose it, refuse it to me, and so um, it could seem quite strange, but nowadays I feel very, very better than before having done this.
Okay,
I
I'm going to
felt
stop you here. I'm going to stop you here. Just Gabriella says that she didn't know there was a sermon to undo the baptism. There isn't a ceremony, Gabriella. It's not excommunication timey, because excommunication is because you've created a sin and they kick you out. It's called defection, and there was in. I'm surprised you had it so easily. In around 2010, there was a big. There was a website in Ireland called countmeout.ie, and you could apply to defect from the church, and then you had to contact the bishop of where you lived, not where you were baptized, and all of that stuff. And when I was growing up, we were told you can never be unbaptized. It cannot happen. So what they do is they don't remove you from the register, as far as I know. Well, this is in Ireland, but they put a note to say that you have defected. But because there were so many people applying for this, they shut the website down. So I don't know how people do it now. And what people would say is, "Oh, you're a lapsed Catholic, you lapse." But the defection process isn't. It's not lapsing. It's walking out very clearly with purpose. So, so Sean says, from the Catholic perspective, anyway, if they can defect you, and just because it's in their head saying you can't, it's a bit like it's what's in your own head. Um, do you feel like a druid? Do you feel like whatever it is? It's what's in here, not some external power or authority saying you are this or you're not. It's what you feel inside. So philosophical says, "Wow, I never thought of that. Like an official divorce from a religion that was never yours." Yeah, except they don't allow it now. But you know what? This is whether they allow it or not is not the issue. You decide that
mm,
you're in this spiritual group or you are not. Nobody can say no, you can't, because we're talking about we're talking about we're talking about beliefs. We're talking about faith here. We're not talking about qualifications or something. You can't say, "Well, I'm a doctor because I feel like I'm a doctor," without having gone to university and studied. But within a spiritual path, if I think it's all got to. Maybe I'm speaking heresy here, but who knows? Uh, uh, And Liz says, "I discovered it a few years ago, but wondered if doing so would somehow be validating a system I disagreed with. Still haven't decided." That's a very interesting point, Liz. Absolutely. I did. But even if I hadn't been allowed, I'd have said, "Well, I'm going anyway." So I've always been clear. I haven't lapsed. I have walked. So, and Liz says, "I've always wondered if the official Catholic Church membership is based on baptism, since it seems clear that a lot of people have left." Uh, oh, it is. Yeah, once you're baptized, they'll tell you you're born a Catholic. You're not. You're not. You don't become a member of the church until you're baptized, because that's when your godparents or whoever it is renounce Satan, and because you come in with sin and they forgive your original sin, all of that stuff. Uh,
mm.
and then Colleen said, "I was always told the same thing. Once you're baptized, you cannot undo it, and never be not Catholic. Just another way to control us. I walked away with a clear conscience for 10 years." All of this, just like our druidry, is our own individual path. Okay, you have the guers and you have the various grades that you go through if you so choose, all three or one or two. And always the invitation is, if this feels right, do this. So you don't become a qualified anything along the Druid path. You have walked it, and it's always self-paced, and it's how you engage with the exercise and the teachings and all of that. Plus, also, many of our members are Christian who weave their Christianity into their Druidic practice, or their Islam, or their Judaism, or their Buddhism, their animism. So within the order, you're always free to practice your Druidry according to your values and your way. So philosophically, I might want to do that just for my own personal satisfaction. I just like the feeling of tendrils still clinging to me, and never imagined a ceremony of some kind. Well, you can create your own ceremony, philosophical Phoenix. You don't have to rely on anybody else to do that. You don't have to do it officially. You can do your own one. And that's what's really important. And Timey says the process of defection varies from country to country and church communities. It seems easier in Finland because of the separation of church and state, but it's different in other countries. Yes. And Bruno says spirit cannot be bound. That's absolutely. But it's up to each one of us makes those decisions for ourselves. And this is how we empower ourselves. So you can cut those ties, philosophical. You cut them with your own scissors or your sword or your knife. And just because someone says, no, you can't, you're still with us. It's like, well, no, you're not, because this is within. So, yeah. Anyway, that's, I'm going off. And anyway, sorry. That was just because there was a reaction to you mentioning that.
Anyway, just to end the speech, I did it for a matter of coherence with myself, with who I am and what I do. I couldn't do what I do anymore, still being a Christian and a Catholic. I didn't feel the two spiritualities could live together side by side. It was not right for me. And now I feel very, very relieved, very, very soothed by this. I'm very happy. It's a good decision I made. So happy.
And that's what's important, that each one of us follows our path according to our own values, our own way of being, listening to our own hearts, our own minds, our own soul, or conscience, for the want of a better word. And that's how we do it, and living according to our own standards, rather than our own internal moral compass, our own internal agency, rather than looking to outside to get it from somebody. So, yes. So, the biggest challenge I've asked this question, the biggest challenge you've ever come over. Okay, what's your greatest achievement? The thing you're most proud of?
Nowadays, I'm getting more and more involved in celebration. I've always been very, very interested into celebration, and for that, I subscribe to a School of Celebrancy of River Jones.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, I can't follow it very, very much because I'm still studying for other purposes. I am studying to become a mentor, for instance, and after that, I will take again the study of the School of Celebrancy. Anyway, the biggest achievement I have reached is just this: being able nowadays to carry a celebration fully, a hand fasting, for example, a baptism, a Druid baptism, or anything else. The celebration likes me very, very much. And I'm very happy to have learned how to perform then. This is the thing that satisfies me very much, celebrating field.
Yes, so it seems, being of service in that way, how you express your service is through
Mhm,
celebration. Wonderful.
mhm. And
Brilliant.
yes.
And you're also a poet. You write poetry, don't you?
Mhm.
Would you
I
like?
wrote a poem. I wrote a
Yes, please.
poem that was meant to be read at our Eisteddfod, at our last gathering in Italy. We didn't read it. Anyway, if you want, I can read it now.
Please do.
Okay. So, this poem talks about a phenomenon called pareidolia, we say in Italy. That's when you see some objects nearby that recalls a human face. So you think you have seen a human face, but it's not. We have most examples around us. And so as our last gathering was dedicated to the figure of the green man, and it was a quite interesting topic to me, I felt drawn to write a poem, and it's called Twigs and Leaves. So, at sunset, I was walking along an old wild path in Galway Wood. I had with me my stick so strong, and my warmest cloak with hood. The atmosphere was magical and dreamy enough to make me lose myself among the ancient trees. Yet I did not drink any booze. Oh green, oh green, oh green man, it seems to me I saw your face among the rocks and mossy trees. I turned my face to that mystery, but there were only twigs and leaves. Sing streams were singing melodies in the timeless peace of greenery, when suddenly I felt I was not alone in that awesome dreamery. I seized the fleeting flicker, gosh, to the left behind the fallen trunk. Was it a creeping, leery animal who sneaked towards its cozy bunk? Oh, green, oh, green, oh, green man, it seems to me I saw your face among the rocks and the mossy trees. I turned my head to that mystery, but there were only twigs and leaves. Were those words, I think, I heard out there, whispering of speechless mysteries? Or only just the rustling of the leaves in the autumn twilight breeze? Were those eyes I caught peeping at me, winking weary among the branches? Or perhaps only a trick of light, making fun of my flawed senses? Oh green, oh green, oh green man, it seems to me I saw your face among the rocks and the mossy trees. I turned my head, this time no joke, but once again, only twigs and leaves. That's all.
And that's beautiful because is English your third language?
Okay.
What is your first language? Italian or Friulano?
No, no, Italian, surely.
And you speak Friulano and now English. I think it's lovely. Philosophical, lovely poetry, Carla. The Manitou or Mysteries of the Green. Well done. Very evocative. Philosophical says, I love the rhythm of this story poem and the joyful curiosity of it. Well done. Beautiful. Um, Gabrielle says, oh, beautiful poem. Magical. Love the intonation used while it was read. Uh, So, yes, well done. Lovely.
Thank you.
So, lots of. Do you have another one for later?
No, I don't have anything to read here. I'm sorry.
So, when you think of, your life as a druid in the modern world and where we are, what concerns you about the modern world? About what's happening in the world today? What concerns you most?
Uh, the concern I have is the pollution of the natural world. And as a druid, I am involved in cleaning the natural world. Um, uh, how can I say? I subscribed Legambiente calls. It's an association that cares about natural issues. And sometimes we go on the beach to gather. How can I say? Objects thrown by the sea, plastic objects and garbage. Oh, garbage! And we collect it and we clean the beach and and the river. The river. How can I say? Uh, shores.
Yeah, the banks
We
of the river. Yeah.
okay. So we try to make our environment a little bit better than it is nowadays. We are a few of us. We are not very many of us. And anyway, we try to do as much as we can to clean the world we are living in. For us, but also for other people, for children, for everyone who will come after us.
So, do you do this on your own? Oh, go
I
on.
know it's a drop in the ocean. Anyway, we do this, and this is my commitment in Druidry. This one, and I have very much satisfaction about this. I like it very much. Uh,
Okay, that is beautiful. So, do you do this on your own, or you do it with the community? Like you have children, adults, all sorts of people going to the riverbanks and cleaning them, and the seaside, or do you do this on your
oh,
own?
there are people of every kind of age. There are
Beautiful.
young and adults and elders too. We are very different ages.
I think that's beautiful. And you said it's only a drop in the ocean, but
Mm.
um, you know that story of the child seeing all the starfish on the sand on the shore, and she's picking them up and she's throwing them back into the sea. And this man comes along and says, "What are you doing?" And I mean, you're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of starfish, and she's
Ah,
throwing them into the sea. And he said, "Well, that's not going to make any difference what you're doing." And she picks up one and she said, "Well, it'll make a difference to this one," and throws it in. And
ah,
it's that. And then Sean says, "Good news, the ocean is made of drops. Keep up the good work." And but it's all of us do that little bit. If each of us can contribute, we're not going to solve the world, but you know what? Energetically, it's lovely when you have a community together of all ages, like you're talking about children and right up to elderly people. Cleaning up,
everybody feels involved.
that's exactly it. And it's but it's making it's making a difference to that beach, to that riverbank, but also it's doing something to the community as well.
Mhm.
It's strengthening that connection between the community and that place. And it's almost like that deepening that sense of belonging that people have to that beach, that riverbank, that forest, or whatever it is. And the more you do
Exactly.
it, and Alessandra says any drop counts. I think it matters much more than people believe. This is Gabriella. I agree. It's all about. This is Morgan says it's all about being out there and visible. Definitely inspires other people to get involved. Absolutely, or at least just think about how they dispose of their trash the next time. And Liz says, I was just thinking today about how we're all metaphysically influenced by the downstream effects of such efforts, and I think it's an absolute gift. Philosophical says, oh yes, Carla, and it does make a real difference. World leaders are currently negotiating a global plastics treaty, thanks in part to people like you making such an effort. It's. I also think it's important that sometimes we can. I don't know. Do we feel powerless? It's like, well, what can I do? I'm just one little. But even doing that, even picking up in your own area, that makes you feel good. But also, anyone passing by sees a clean area. That makes them feel good, and then you don't often know the impact you have on an unknown person who has seen it, and that has, along, who knows what the outcome is. Imagination is the root of empathy, and sometimes folks can't envision what to do unless they see someone do it. Absolutely. And I mean, I think being a role model for something that's doable, something, it's not about someone being so devout and pious. It's about something that you can do. Anyone can pick up a bit of litter, if obviously if they're physically able, but it is possible to do that, to make the smallest little thing. And then, of course, you do it in community and in solidarity with others, then that enriches your sense of community and space. Yeah.
And we are also an example for people seeing us, because they see we have the bags with the garbage, the litter in. And so, oh, what are you doing? Compliments. And perhaps we throw a seed, a little seed, a small seed in their minds. And perhaps one day also other people will do that. Personally, I know more than 2 or 3 persons who are doing the same after having seen other people doing this. It's quite important, the example you give to the others that can see you, are doing something very, very important for the others in this way.
And I think, it's a way of drawing communities together and creating community spirit in a time where people are divided, and it's easy to divide people through fear or othering them. And when you say, okay, let us all together clean this riverbank, or let's pick up the litter at the beach, how healing that is, not just for the land, but for the people themselves. And unless we have relationship with each other and relationship with our landscape, I think we're doomed. We need that contact, that connection, that relationship. Yes.
So,
what gives you hope? So the pollution is what you're concerned about. What gives you hope in the modern world?
I see so many young people who are very sensitive to the natural issues.
Okay.
Nowadays, we adults or the elders denigrate young people, saying they are they don't want to do anything. They only want to do on the PC and playing PlayStation, etc. But it's not so. There are many young people who really want to get involved in the decisions and in the process of healing the world, and employing themselves to study and to work for the environment, for the nature. And it's quite a consolation to see it. It's very, I don't know how to explain. It gives really a great hope to see the youth, the young people so involved. That gives me hope. Young
Yeah, and we've
teenager.
had so we've had other guests who, describe them as saplings, and how important they are. And it's interesting when you
Exactly.
say, about our generation criticizing the younger generation. I remember my parents' generation criticizing my generation, that we only thought of ourselves, we were lazy. Now, we weren't looking at PlayStations and telephones because the technology wasn't there, but we had our own version of we don't care about anybody except ourselves type of thing, that self obsession. And yet, um, and Aristotle said the same. When was Aristotle hanging around complaining about young people too? And
But anyway, I think that at the time of the Neanderthals too, they used to criticize the young people. Perhaps it has been always so, as it the word exists.
and yeah, Liz says generation wars continue. The thing is that I think that the adolescents are, this part of their brain isn't fully developed. They're experimenting with life. They're pushing against authority, looking for independence, and yet very dependent. All of that stuff, that messy time where they are working out how to be in the world and how they are with themselves. And then when they pass through that, it's lovely to see how they push. I see it in my own. I mean, so we brought up our kids home educated, green, organic food, blah, blah, blah. And then there's a phase of eye rolling and no, I'm not using, that's just about you. This product is much better. And you're thinking, oh, is this my child? What has happened? And then they come through that. And now my daughter recently said, oh, Eimear, I've become you. So she's now looking for organic things, where before is that's all you've money. And it's now important to her. And but it's that process to push through that. Gabriella says, the quote from Cicero here, times are bad, children no longer obey their parents, and everyone was writing a book. Cicero. Did Cicero actually say everyone was writing a book? Wow. Okay, that's great. So anyway, and then philosophical describes critical cave parents. Yes. But the thing is that we facilitate that and hold that space for all this, teenage shenanigans going on, and looking at this, and then and being steady ourselves and still being good role models. It's if we're not, it's up to us to be the role models, to be the wise ones. And then they'll come through that crazy time and hopefully come out as well-developed human beings, with a conscience, with a care for their landscape. Because children often start off really concerned, and then they pass through a phase of adolescence where they're so absorbed with themselves and they're all insecurities. They're not thinking of anybody else, and then they come through that if they've been held well enough within that phase. So I think we need to be nurturing our saplings, our
Saplings.
acorns and our saplings. And of course, I think an oak tree is a very good model because of in this landscape, they support about 600 different species. I mean, that's
Yeah,
really powerful as an analogy for an oak tree. So, yeah. So I
and
think, go
and
on.
also I think we have also to trust in them, because they are able and capable to do great things. I'm sure about it. I hope, but I'm also sure about it.
Well, we as a species, it's amazing how we have managed to survive. Uh, I mean, I know at the moment, the wars in so many places, you have human rights abuses. So you have what's going on in Palestine and Congo and Sudan and Afghanistan and in the US and in Britain and so many other places that I haven't mentioned. I'm always afraid if you start listing them, I leave some out. But when you look at that, and we've had world wars, we've had the 30-year war in Europe, there was the 80-year war in Europe, there was all sorts of horrible things happening, and people have come through it as we've managed it to survive. So my sense is we will prevail. And Liz says, this is interesting. I vote for we adults becoming more interested in learning from the kids rather than the other way around. I think it's a two-way process. And Bruno says, if it weren't for my mum, I wouldn't have become a vegan, for example. She's not one herself, but her values helped me develop it within. That's really interesting. Yeah, that's lovely. So, yeah, I think it's a two-way process. I think, I was brought up to respect your elders, and that was always one way. The lesser person respects the older person, etc. And I never didn't express a view contrary to my parents, or I never contradicted them. And then my parenting style has been completely different. And I think that's very similar with my generation, allowing our children to speak. So my children they're allowed to correct me and pick me up on anything I'm doing. They don't let me away with anything. And it's allowing them a voice as well. But I do think it's a two-way process, because I think we do have to have guidance for our children. We need to be able to set boundaries and limits and all of that, and then also allow them their freedom, but also recognizing that you have a lot to learn from children. It's both. It's not either or. It's both and. I'm a both and person. So I think we have come to the end of our conversation, and it has been a really interesting one, Carla. And I'm sorry you don't have another poem, but that's okay. So I think just thank you so much for joining me for this fireside chat. I've really enjoyed it. And so I'm going to let you say goodnight to everybody.
Okay, it's been a great pleasure being with you, with all of you, and I say you goodbye, good evening, and good morning if you are in the southern hemisphere. Anyway, thank you for sharing with us this evening, and bye bye to everybody. Hello.
Okay, so don't go away. I'm sending you in the green room so you can still hear me and see me. So just looking for comments as one. It seems that as humans, we take a deep dive into negativity so we can see what we don't want, and then we go to the light and see to get what we want. Lovely. Anyway, I just want to say good night to all of you, or good morning, good afternoon, or if you are watching a recording of this, and giving you many, many sound blessings. And of course, to those down under, we have Lloyd from New Zealand and maybe a few others from the Southern Hemisphere. Lots of Bealtaine blessings as everything in your landscape is exploding while we're going down into the dark half of the year. So until we meet again, and that would be, let me see, it'll be the 27th, let me know, the 2 weeks of November, where I'll see you for another fireside chat. I think next week we have our storytelling circle. Until then, please be well and enjoy the rest of your day or evening. So, slán go fóill.